I'm Lisa Greenfield, and this is
I'm Latoya Burns. I'm a teacher at the Owsley Head Start.
and how long have you been teaching?
Let's see, I started in the early childhood field about 14 years ago, and this is my 4th year of full-time teaching.
Amazing. Thank you for your service. I wanted to ask you about using ZONO. You shared that you have ZONO in your center, and wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on having one.
Well, we got it 2 years ago, and it was just either right as COVID hit or right before COVID hit. I remember we got it, and at first we seen this big, massive machine that overtook our break area, and we was like, nope, I'm not touching it. No, sorry.
Because it looks kind of scary.
It did. We was like, and even when they were explaining what it does, we was just like in awe of it. It's like, what? How is that gonna do that?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like 30 minutes? And so the first time I ever used it, I was so nervous. I was just like, I'm gonna tear this big thing up. But when we did, before we had to wash all our toys by hand, and that would take forever because you would have to scrub each individual toy. And then when we finally got the machine and kind of learned how to use it, it took us a few tries. I'm not even gonna lie. It took us a few trial and errors, but we did finally learn it. And it took our cleaning time in like a quarter of the time it did before. So we could clean our rooms more often and sanitize more often, which really helped with just like the common stuff like colds, stomach viruses, flu, stuff like that. And it was just good. And it's just the convenience of being able to roll the parts in, put the toys in it, roll it to the machine, 30 minutes you're done, put your toys back up.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking the toys, taking them to the tub, wash each tub, and it's just like crazy.
Yeah, and it's the last thing you want to do at the end of the day after teaching all day. Right. It is the last thing you want to do.
Right. Because there's been times by the end of the day, I'm just ready to drop.
Yes.
This has been a very crazy year. It's the first fully year back after COVID. And, we've had heightened behavior issues because they weren't in those settings. And now it's just like, by the end of the day, I was just ready to go home. And it's like, oh, I got to clean this. Okay, good, 30 minutes. Bam, we're done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you're happy with ZONO, and I thank you for stopping by with us today.
No problem. Yeah, that's been just such a time saver for all of us.
Wonderful. So, what would you like to share with other teachers about ZONO? Maybe you could tell them one thing about, well, if they said the price was too much, what would you say?
They're crazy. They're crazy. Sorry, you're crazy. It is well worth the price. Yes, when we first heard the price, we was like, are you all crazy? We could watch it for free. Are you serious? But then after, using it the first couple times, we was like, okay, now we get it. We totally understand. Because like I said, 1/4 of the time it used to take before. And, even after it comes out of the sanitation cycle, the toys feel clean. Like before, we would have to dunk them in the sessions of water, clean water, the bleached water, after, and it was just like, you have to wait for them to dry, and sometimes it would take forever to dry.
They fill up with water, and you go to put them back on the shelf, and they're everything's wet.
And then if you have the toys, we have these little snap toys that you snap together, and those metal pieces, you know what happens with metal, it gets wet, it rusts.
Yep.
But with this, no rusting, and it's just so good.
Awesome.
We've actually saved money because we haven't had to throw toys away as quickly. So, and like I said, you can do so much at one time because those trays are so big, you can put an entire shelf of toys in one tray.
Yeah.
And there's 5 trays per car?
7.
7 per car. Okay, there's only 5.
You can make it 5, you can make it 7, you can make it whatever you want.
I think we
they're
had
adjustable.
5 because our bottom one, we would always leave out the one above it so we could have taller
things.
Okay, so I think we have 5 in ours.
Very good, very good.
But still, even with 5 trays, you've got plenty of room. And it's just so much better.
What about, one more quick question for you, what about, do you use it for lice, bed bugs, that sort of thing?
We use it for everything.
Yeah.
If we have a child that has lice in our room, we throw toys in there, we throw everything in there. If we have, if we've had a child that's had stomach virus, if we've had a child that had hand, foot, mouth, if we've had a sick child at all, we use it for everything. And mean, I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but we have actually threw blankets in there in the trays.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
because we were just concerned,
Yeah.
we did have a child that had not necessarily lice, but they had nits. So
Yeah.
it was just like, just to be cautious, let's just go ahead and throw them in there.
And it kills nits too.
Yes,
Which is amazing, right?
Which, when we first got it, they didn't train us on it, per se. Like, we trained one or two, and then, of course, it was supposed to trickle down.
Is the telephone effect where you
Yeah,
get-
it was kind of supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
But you know how it kind of, like, this one
gets
teaches this
diluted?
one.
Yeah.
And it's like, so by the time we all got taught, we was all a little like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly, or they might have left the part out. Like, when I first done it, nobody told me about the bottle that you had to fill with the water.
Ah.
I was like, oh, so my first try with it was interesting. I was like, it didn't do anything. Like, what's it supposed to do? But then once I learned you got to put water in the bottle, then it was much better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. I wish you a wonderful school year.
Me too.
Yes.
I have high hopes for this year. I keep waking up every day and I was like, it's going to be a good year. That's my
Awesome.
affirmation every morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.